Cameras are getting more and more powerful with each generation, able to record higher resolutions, bit depths, and bit rates. But the quality of movie files recorded in a camera is often not the best that a camera sensor can provide. Luckily, many cameras offer video output, and it's possible to use an external recorder to not only monitor that video stream, but to capture that video into higher quality files than what a camera can record internally. One of the best options for an external monitor and recorder is the Atomos Ninja 5. This video is a full review of the Ninja 5, along with knowledge and best practices for using any external recorder. Let's do it. Hi everyone, my name is James White, I'm an engineer turned filmmaker, and this video is everything that you need to know about the Atomos Ninja 5 external monitor and recorder. This is what I will be covering, and I have this list in the description with timestamps. I've had the Ninja 5 for 11 months, and it has become a vital part of my video workflow. It can record up to 10-bit HDR DCI 4K at up to 60 frames per second. It has full-size HDMI in and out, microphone in, headphone out, and remote ports. It takes Sony L-series NPF batteries and accessories, comes with an AC supply with plug adapters, and records to 2.5-inch SATA 3 drives in proprietary caddies. You get one of these caddies with the Ninja 5. Install an SSD into the caddy, slide the caddy into the Ninja 5, connect an HDMI cable between the Ninja 5 and your camera, provide power, and setup is pretty much done. However, proper setup has a few added complexities that you need to know. First, if your camera outputs 4K 60, you're going to need to make sure you're using an HDMI cable capable of that resolution and frame rate. And even if you're using a cable that can handle 4K 60, make sure that the signal is not flaky. I found some cables to be hit or miss, especially when working with micro HDMI, and you need a dependable connection in order to rely on external recording. Second, make sure that your camera is sending out clean HDMI, one without camera interface overlays. There should be an option for this in your camera settings. You can always change this option when you do want to monitor and record the overlays, but don't forget to change it back when you want to record clean video. And third, I consider the most valuable feature of the Ninja 5 to be the ability to record externally and internally simultaneously. To do this, you have to enable HDMI record control in your camera. With this camera option enabled, you can press record on your camera and it will start recording on both devices. Since you're recording internally, you'll still have to deal with an internal recording limit if your camera has one. But if the media in one device fails, and the backup on the other device is what saves you, the Ninja 5 will have paid for itself in one client job. Recording externally without recording internally is a great way to bypass your camera's internal recording limit if it has one. With an uninterrupted signal, the Ninja 5 can record as long as it has available storage and power. We're going to take a quick trip through the menus. The Ninja 5's on-screen interface is organized well and can be hidden and shown by tapping the center of the screen. You have waveform and vector scopes, and you can change the size of your scopes on the screen. You have focus peaking, and you have zebras and false color to help with your exposure. You can view your blue channel to check noise. You have 1:1 and 2:1 zoom, and you can navigate those on the screen. You can see safe areas, as well as various frame guides, and you have anamorphic desqueeze options. Most tools have additional options as well. So for example, with focus peaking, we can take out the color to more easily see our areas of high contrast. You can also load LUTs and view them on top of your recording or bake them in. This can be helpful if you're recording with a log profile and want to monitor with a LUT. With the drive attached, you can start and stop recording directly on the Ninja 5 and see what you've recorded in the playback menu. Learning how and when to use the monitoring tools helps you get the most out of the Ninja 5, and it can significantly improve your production workflow. Beyond monitoring, the reason why external video recorders are so powerful is because they write video to higher quality codecs than what cameras record internally. Cameras typically record movie files using the H.264 or H.265 codecs, and these codecs apply significant compression to your video. External recorders create video files using codecs that have less compression. This typically results in better image quality and easier playback of recorded files, which is very helpful when editing. These are the target data rates for ProRes. I've highlighted the options that can be recorded by the Ninja 5, and they quickly become higher than the 100, 200, or even 400 megabits per second that cameras typically record internally. Please note that the units for this chart are megabits per second and gigabytes per hour. These are the target data rates for DNX. Again, I've highlighted the options that can be recorded by the Ninja 5, and please note that the units for this chart are in megabytes per second. so multiply by 8 to compare with the bit rates on the ProRes chart. If you want to take a closer look at the target data rates for ProRes and DNX, I have a link to both spec sheets in the description. As you select higher quality options in either codec, you're going to experience ballooning file sizes for less and less return. I tend to use ProRes 422 or 422 LT, as going higher than that really isn't worth it for most projects with my current workflow. And it's important to remember that you'll get better results if you focus on composition, story, and lighting than if you try to compensate by always recording in 422HQ. To begin a look into image quality, I have some clips that I've recorded both internally on a Fujifilm X-T3, which you're looking through now, and on the Ninja 5. It's easy to see that files from the X-T3 and the Ninja 5 are quite different. Starting with a visual, rather than a technical comparison, files from the Ninja 5 are more saturated and have more contrast than files recorded in camera, and this is true regardless of picture profile or recording in log. Colors are much more accurate to real life when recording on the Ninja 5 rather than recording on the X-T3 internally, and what the Ninja 5 provides tends to be closer to what I like to color grade to anyway. However, these differences mean that the scopes on the Ninja 5 are only accurate to what you see on the Ninja 5, not what you see on the back of your camera. This also means that if you record part of a project externally and part of a project internally, you're going to have to color grade to match the look. The higher quality codecs on the Ninja 5 allow you to push a grade further than you could with files recorded in camera. Now, one of the most significant variables that determines image quality is the codec and the flavor of codec that you select for your recordings. In order to make that selection, you have to have the answer to the question, how much better is the ProRes or DNX recorded externally compared to the H.264 or H.265 recorded in camera? And the answer to that question is no longer about the Ninja 5. It's a discussion about the codecs themselves, and way beyond the scope of a review of any one specific external recorder. However, to effectively use any external recorder, you still need to have the answer to that question. So I'm going to be making a separate video for a technical comparison of those codecs, and answering that question in detail. I'll also be coming out with a video explaining video compression, bit depths, bit rates, and more, so if you're interested, stick around the channel. Using the Ninja 5 for monitoring only, and still recording in camera, is a great way to avoid the large file sizes of the ProRes and DNX codecs. And regardless of the codec that you use, you may find the Ninja 5 providing you with higher image quality because with the bright 5-inch screen, you can actually see what you're doing. It's like night and day when compared to working with a tiny screen on the back of a camera. Your framing and focus will likely be better because you can actually see your shot. And there are so many other ways that an external recorder can help your workflow. When working with clients, handing them the Ninja 5 after a session is a cool way to review what you've recorded. The Ninja 5 can take a signal from anything that outputs video via HDMI, which means you can use it with more than just cameras. You can use it as an HDR display with your computer, which is awesome when color grading. You may not buy it solely for this purpose, but it can also be helpful for streaming. You can take the video feed from your camera, apply a LUT to do color correction to the video, and then output that video to whatever device is broadcasting your stream. You can hook a computer or game console to the HDMI in, and then attach your regular display to the HDMI out. The Ninja 5 screen is 1080p, but it appears to the source device as 4K. This is a great way to record a high quality screen capture. Really helpful if you're recording a tutorial or you're recording gameplay. But if you're going for hours on end, stay mindful of the large file sizes. Luckily, the Ninja 5 records to 2.5-inch SSDs. Compared to SD cards, they're cheaper per gigabyte and often have higher mean time between failure. And after capturing to an SSD, you don't have to take time to import from a card, because your video is already on a storage medium fast enough to edit from. Atomos recommends their SSD dock, but you can use any SATA 3 to USB connector. Atomos has partnered with other companies to make mini SSDs. They're slightly shorter than regular 2.5-inch drives, and they don't extend beyond the Ninja 5's perimeter. It's certainly a cleaner look, but I prefer the length of regular drives because it provides some protection for the HDMI cables. Also, regular SSDs are cheaper per gigabyte than the smaller Atom X SSDs, even though if you use more than one regular SSD, you have to buy more drive caddies. Atomos keeps a list of their recommended SSDs, and I have a link to that list in the description. The benefits of using an external recorder come at the cost of more than just large file sizes. Adding an external recorder, plus its batteries, chargers, cables, and mounting hardware, means your kit will be larger, heavier, and more complicated, but it's absolutely worth it for the right applications. The Ninja 5 has 3/8-16 mounts with 1/4-20 adapters and locating holes on both the top and bottom of the chassis. It's fairly light, even with a large battery, and a lot of people like to use hot shoe ball heads to put the Ninja 5 right on top of their camera. I prefer something more robust, so I've opted for a camera cage and tilting mount that attaches and detaches from NATO rail. I can move the Ninja 5 from the top of the camera to the back of the camera, depending on how I want to record. It's a setup that's fairly compact and very powerful. Not too heavy, but heavy enough to help get stable shots. The Ninja 5 is a great way to add a display to a camera that doesn't have an articulating screen. I've been asked if the Ninja 5 is a viable solution for vlogging with cameras that don't have a flip-out screen. And the answer depends on how you vlog. A setup like this is too heavy to comfortably vlog with at arm's length. Though it's light enough, you'll probably try it anyway. You can set it up somewhere and vlog with it, but you have to respect that recording style. If you vlog more methodically and take the time to set up your shots, having a heavier and more complicated rig won't be too much of a problem. If you like to quickly whip out a camera, this is not the solution for you. It's bulky, and every time you want to record, you have to turn on 2 devices. And I don't even have a microphone attached right now. Also, vlogging like this, it looks ridiculous. Now, if you've been vlogging for a significant length of time, you no longer care about looking ridiculous. However, a rig like this attracts attention. And while that's great for impressing clients, it's not good for casual vlogging. I'll mention here that the Ninja 5 has great build quality, but it is not weather sealed. I would not be willing to take it into certain conditions I would be willing to take my camera. No matter how you mount the Ninja 5, if it's anywhere near a microphone, you're going to have trouble with the Ninja 5's one major flaw: the fan noise. If you're recording outside, if you're in a public space, or if you're in a quiet theater with an audience of at least a few hundred, the ambient noise will be enough to drown out the fan noise of the Ninja 5. But if you're inside, in a quiet room where nothing else is making noise, as you'd want to be for an interview or a talking head segment like this one, fan noise is going to be a problem. You can mitigate this by using directional microphones close to your subject, and placing the Ninja 5 as far away as possible. This is difficult to do when the Ninja 5 and a microphone are in close proximity on a camera rig. So how bad is the fan noise? The best way I have to describe it is that it's not bad enough that you can't work around it, but it is bad enough that you'll have to work around it. And don't let this scare you away. The fan noise is workable. It's only a problem in quiet rooms, and you can denoise your audio in post and still get great results. But while fan noise is the problem that you'll have to deal with as a user, it's actually a symptom of an even deeper problem, and that is heat. The Ninja 5 gets hot, and that's okay. It's by design, and the active cooling manages the thermals well. The front of the unit is glass, the back of the unit is plastic, and the rest of the chassis is aluminum. There won't be any part of the device that doesn't get warm. It's a powerful piece of equipment that can record DCI 4K 60 10-bit HDR to high-end codecs while providing monitoring tools on a bright display and writing to an SSD. While doing all of that, it makes sense that it needs to exhaust heat. Here's what doesn't make sense. The Ninja 5 still gets warm, and still exhausts heat, and still runs the fan at idle. If you turn it on and leave it, not doing anything, not taking video input, not powering an SSD, 0% backlight, warm air still comes out of the exhaust, and the aluminum chassis will slowly warm, even with the fan running the entire time. Interestingly, Atomos has another product called the Shinobi, a 5-inch external monitor that offers all of the monitoring features of the Ninja 5 without the recording features. And the Shinobi does not have the same fan noise problem. It offers all of the monitoring features of the Ninja 5 without the need for the same active cooling. And this is an indication that the heat of the Ninja 5 is actually a symptom of an even deeper problem, which is high power draw. And this is less relevant to a user. We're really stepping out of normal review territory here, but you are watching an engineer's review. My guess is that the recording features of the Ninja 5 required Atomos to use a more capable processor, one that draws more power regardless of the computational load. The necessary processing power for recording might have come at the cost of using a chip with lower efficiency. Spec sheets from Atomos list a 10 to 19 watt power draw for the Ninja 5 and a 4 to 7 watt power draw for the monitoring only Shinobi. That is a huge difference, and I'm pretty sure Atomos realizes that the idle power draw of the Ninja 5 is higher than it has any right to be, because they made the point that the Shinobi has low power draw in standby and monitoring modes right on the Shinobi product page. A trick to save battery power on the Ninja 5 is to turn off the screen. You can tap the power button to turn the screen off and on while the Ninja 5 is still running. A silver lining in all of this is that when you're recording externally and not recording internally, your camera will get better battery life and will run cooler. The Ninja 5 comes with an AC to NPF adapter to provide continuous power, and you can also use it with NPF batteries and other NPF accessories. It would have been preferable if the AC adapter could have connected somewhere else on the unit, allowing the use of both sources at once, and the ability to charge an attached battery. But the ultimate upgrade would be to power the Ninja 5 from USB-C, and we don't have to wait another product generation for it to be implemented. It doesn't even have to be done by Atomos. Any company could produce a USB-C to NPF adapter, even one that charges an attached battery on that adapter. USB power delivery provides more than enough power at a variety of applicable voltages, and it wouldn't matter that USB-C isn't a lockable connector if you could still attach a battery. The reason for wanting power via USB-C is that USB battery packs are much cheaper per watt hour than NPF batteries or V-mount batteries. Plus, you can easily use them to power other devices, such as your cell phone or your laptop, or the camera that you're using with the Ninja 5. This USB battery pack is just under 100 watt hours, and it can power the X-T3 all day. The Ninja 5 is an amazing product, but it really goes from amazing to great in my mind when I think about how much better it could be if it could be powered from USB-C. No matter if Atomos makes a USB-C to NPF adapter or not, they still designed the Ninja 5 with expansion in mind. The proprietary Atom-X connector, placed in the battery slot, means that Atomos can expand the Ninja 5's features through the implementation of add-on modules. This can also keep the Ninja 5 up to date as new technologies come along. They have Atom-X modules to add SDI connections, Ethernet connection, wireless timecode sync, and more. And it's smart that they put these features in add-on modules, because not all customers need them. So it's time to talk about value. The Ninja 5 is $700, but just like a camera, actual system cost is more once you add media, batteries, chargers, mounts, and other accessories. It's a product that you buy if you make videos that make money. And there are not many competing products out there, but there are a few. If you don't need recording and want monitoring only, Atomos offers the Shinobi for $300. At the higher end, Atomos offers the Shogun Inferno and Ninja Inferno, both of which offer 7-inch screens and more features such as XLR input and additional codecs. And Atomos' product range extends way beyond that. Blackmagic Design offers several models in their Video Assist line. The best competitor for the Ninja 5 would be the recently announced $800 Blackmagic Video Assist 5-inch 12G HDR, which offers SDI connections as well as HDMI, 2 NPF battery slots, and separate plug-in power, and records to SD cards and external SSDs via USB-C. Purchasing an external recorder is a much better value than stepping up to a higher tier camera body. Higher tier cameras often don't provide the video monitoring and recording capabilities of an external recorder. You could get a camera such as Blackmagic Design's Pocket Cinema Camera 4K or 6K, which have large screens and great capture codecs, but these cameras are designed for video only. Using a hybrid camera, such as the Fujifilm X-T3, or the Canon EOS R, the Sony a7 III, or the Nikon Z6, in combination with the Ninja 5, means that you have a setup suited for both photography and video. I use the Ninja 5 with the Fujifilm X-T3. The camera is $1,500 and it is a much higher value than any of its competitors. With the Ninja 5, the base system cost is $2,200. If a camera manufacturer came out with a camera that had the X-T3's photography and video features, the Ninja 5's recording and monitoring features, a 5-inch detachable screen, and the ability to simultaneously record to SD cards and SSDs, all as one package and all for $2,200, it would blow everything else away. It would be leaps and bounds ahead of everything else. Not just at $2,200, it wouldn't have competition at any price point. Having them as two separate devices is not as slick or as efficient as if they were designed together. But by purchasing a camera and then purchasing an external recorder, you do have access to that level of value. It's exciting to think about what the future holds, and there are ways the Ninja 5 could be improved. We've already talked about the need to power the Ninja 5 from USB-C, and this could be done with an adapter from any company. We've already touched on this as well, but the idle power draw of the Ninja 5 is way too high. If that problem is solved, it will solve the heat problem, which will solve the fan noise problem. The Ninja 5 turns on fast, but it doesn't turn off fast, which makes it a hassle to turn the device off between shots. You have to go into the battery menu and hold the icon for 4 seconds to shut down the system. This doesn't seem necessary. It's already buried in a menu. I don't think I'm going to hit it accidentally. If they still want some sort of mechanic to prevent unwanted shutdowns, they should replace the hold to shutdown with a swipe to shutdown. The Ninja 5 communicates with cameras via HDMI, and while that's sufficient for sending high quality video, you can't use HDMI to control camera settings from the Ninja 5. It would be great if you could, as it would be so helpful to have tap to focus and other controls directly on the external recorder. You can have some of that control in mobile camera control apps, but a lot of those apps aren't very good, and it would be great to have a high quality implementation in a product like this. And that may even be possible with the Ninja 5, depending on the limitations of the proprietary Atom-X connector. In the nearer future, some might find it helpful if Atomos made an Atom-X expansion module for XLR audio input. One final suggestion: and other filmmakers out there might find this an odd one. There are times, such as recording a live performance, or an interview, or a presentation, when the record time is lengthy, and I don't want to deal with the large file sizes that come with using ProRes or DNX. For situations like these, it would be helpful if the Ninja 5 could record in compressed codecs, such as H.264 and H.265. There are times when you're not making the next blockbuster movie, and all you want to do with your external recorder is bypass your camera's internal recording limit. You might be wondering why Atomos continues to use SATA 3 SSDs rather than switching to NVMe drives. NVMe drives are much faster, much smaller, and no longer much more expensive per gigabyte. My guess is that the primary reason why they haven't switched to NVMe drives is because, compared to SATA 3 SSDs, NVMe drives have higher power requirements, both when active and at idle. Keeping power draw down is crucial, especially on a device that already draws too much. Also, SATA 3 SSDs are more than fast enough to deliver the read and write speeds required by the Ninja 5's highest end codecs. Regardless of what the future holds, the Ninja 5 is a great product. There's a certain richness that you see when you watch a video from high-end cameras using high-end lenses on high-budget productions, and the Ninja 5 gets you closer to that look. It makes production and post-production so much easier, and if you work with video, I highly recommend it. I also recommend keeping your Ninja 5 firmware up to date. I have a link in the description for where you can download the latest firmware directly from Atomos. There are two more important aspects of using the Ninja 5 that aren't specifically about the Ninja 5. First, if your camera uses micro HDMI rather than full-size HDMI, keep in mind that micro HDMI is not robust enough for professional workflows. Be mindful of that connection as a possible first point of system failure. This is not at all the fault of the Ninja 5, but it is something you'll have to keep in mind if you're using a camera that has micro HDMI. Second, video cuts out on the Fujifilm X-T3 when you change the view or engage the proximity sensor. If you're wondering if this messes up recording with an external recorder, the answer is yes. And this is also not the fault of the Ninja 5. But if you're using an external recorder, you're going to have to deal with quirks like this depending on your model of camera. As I mentioned, I'm going to be making a separate video comparing image quality when recording in different video codecs. This is necessary knowledge for using an external recorder. I'll also be coming out with a video explaining video compression, bit rates, and much more in detail, so stick around the channel if you're interested. My last video was a full review of the Fujifilm X-T3, so if you're interested in the camera that I use with the Ninja 5, check out that video. I have it linked in the description. If you have any questions about the Ninja 5, or if there are any other topics you want me to cover, let me know in the comments. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.